to episode 314 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for people who play Magic the Gathering. Whether you're sitting at home jamming some Arena, you're out at your local game store with a couple of friends playing Commander or other fun multiplayer formats, or you're heading out to your local Magic Fest to grind some games.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we've got a show chock full. Why do you say chock full?
That's a great question.
It's certainly not spelled like chalk, like what you use on a blackboard. But
it's not chock full.
It's not chock full. This show is chock full.
Oh man, I need to take these erasers out and clean them. They're really chock full.
You could say a classroom is chock full of chalk.
That's true. I'm gonna look it up as you tell us what it's chock full of.
Oh, great. The number of language tips we've given you on the show, by the way, over the years, I feel is quite high for a show that is in no way related to language or medicine. So anyway, what we're going to talk about on the show today is chock full of stuff that's going on. So much has happened over the past week and weekend in the world of Magic that we're going to start things off with a mailbag, which we don't do on the show all the time, but we like to do from time to time to let you write in with questions for us. And there's some pretty big questions out there that you had this week, so we're going to start out with that. Then, of course, we're going to talk about the Grand Prix in New Jersey, which was limited this past weekend at the Magic Fest New Jersey. And what were the top decks like? We're going to talk a little bit about draft in this new Ravnica Allegiance format. What are you supposed to draft? What's the best colors? What are the worst colors? What's a trap? What cards do we want to yell about? And what is this card? That's right. We've got a list.
Do you know what? So there's not a clear answer.
Really?
It seems like the most likely one is that it comes from like an older spelling of cheek, meaning you're like, you know, like
stuff your cheek full
like
of stuff?
Yeah, like a squirrel.
That's so much cuter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So,
cheekful. Yeah, that makes sense.
There you
go. Like a little squirrel.
But it's been around for a really long time, and it seems like it's not a saying so much as it was a word. It's just a word.
What happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So there you go.
Wow.
That's your etymology of chockful.
Speaking of squirrels, I recently bought, sorry to tangent off of our tangent briefly.
Yes.
I bought the Super Mario Brothers game for Switch that was originally released on the Wii U, which I didn't own. And I feel very betrayed by all of you who didn't tell me that you can become a flying squirrel in that version of Mario.
Wow.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's
so cool.
With the little tail?
No, it's not the raccoon.
Oh,
it's a squirrel. So you can float up. You have little squirrel wings, flying squirrel wings, and you float down and up and down. So it's kind of like the tail, but like a little different than the tail.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no clue. It's so cool.
Well, now you have it though.
Anyway, there you go.
Where were we?
If you like flying squirrels. Oh yeah, New Jersey, and then we're going to talk about the SCG event this past weekend as well, which was Standard.
What's happening in Standard?
New decks.
As always, if you're looking for the more hard-hitting MTG news, and by hard-hitting, I mean brief, factual, all-encompassing, check out our brand new mini podcast, The Upkeep, which comes out every Monday and in 10 minutes or less gives you all of the Magic news. So here we'll discuss things in depth, like deck lists, as Maria said, mailbags, and other things going on. But that's for what has happened in the world of Magic.
Yes, and you can search for The Upkeep anywhere that fine podcasts are searched for. It now 100% is across all platforms. If you could leave us a review, too, if you're a listener, that would be awesome, because that's how people find new podcasts, and iTunes bumps it up in the ratings. If you hate it, leave a review, too. I don't really care. I just am happy you're interacting with the media that you choose to consume.
Wow.
Yes.
Shout out to media interaction.
But before we get started with our show, we've got some people to thank, and that's number one person is you if you support us on Patreon.
Thank you so much to everyone who is a supporter of the podcast, whether you're chipping in $1 a month, $5 a month, it doesn't matter to us. What matters is that in another way, you're interacting with the media that you consume. It really does mean the world to us. Some artists, you can go out and you can buy prints of their artwork, or you can go out and you can see them do performances at venues, and you pay for tickets, and they get a portion of those ticket sales. This is our art.
This is our art.
This is our art. And we so appreciate when you take a little bit of time to show that it means something to you and support it via Patreon. So head on over there, patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Nailed it. And Card Kingdom, too. They are a sponsor of our show. They've been for a while now. You can use our affiliate link whenever you buy anything from Card Kingdom, and that lets them know that you support us as they're supporting us. And that link is cardkingdom.com/GLHF. No magic on that one. But just use that whenever you're shopping over there. And why wouldn't you shop over there?
Why wouldn't you?
They're so great.
You can now get booster boxes of Ravnica Allegiance. So what are you waiting for?
Send them on over. Yeah, they're great. They'll put a sticker in your order if you request one from Good Luck High Five. Customer service is second to none in the whole biz, and they're just staffed by a bunch of great people, and they've got a bunch of great products. So check them out, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Big shout out before we go on to the show, real quick, to our board game channel, youtube.com/GLHF board games. If you're a board gamer, head on over there, hit sub. We post a new board game review or playthrough every week, and this week
it's Sagrada.
It's Sagrada, one of our favorites.
There's a new 5 to 6 player expansion for Sagrada, which one is great because it's one of our favorite games, our favorite non-Magic games. Gasp! What?
You play other games?
Yep. You know, sometimes you gotta expand your horizons. Yeah. It's gorgeous. We love it. It's a ton of fun. They have a new expansion, and you get to see us play through it. So
it's beautiful, stained glass window,
it's
dice.
Gorgeous.
And, anyway,
and you can see some footage of the actual Sagrada Familia in that video from when we were there in December.
And if you're like, where was your vlog from your trip to Spain? It's coming someday, very slowly, but it will be there.
In the meantime, you can see footage of the Sagrada Familia on our board game review. Is that our weird way of getting you to go over there? Now it is.
It's time for a Good Luck High Five mailbag.
That's right. So we have a couple of different ways that we've gotten mailbag questions here. First of all, we have the mailbag section on our Discord chat.
Yes.
Access to that Discord is for patrons. So if you're like, I want to, hang out with some sweet GLHF peeps and look at pictures of really cute ferrets, it's the place to be.
It's a great Discord.
Especially the ferret pictures.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's get started.
Okay. First question.
Yes.
So should we start with the most pressing one that most people want to know about?
The one that everyone is asking.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on GP coverage?
Okay, well, broadly speaking, it's great. I love it. Okay.
We love GP coverage is what you're saying.
Yes. So the question is based off of something that happened this past weekend, which we go into a little bit more, I guess I wouldn't say in depth, but we'll talk about it on the upkeep as well, because it was a big news item this week. Somebody, I don't know who it was, asked a question about text coverage or something this weekend.
Yeah. From
GP New Jersey, and the Magic Pro Tour account replied to that person on Twitter with a little two-parter reply that was specifically about text coverage. So we'll try and pull it up so we can read it for you exactly. But that's the only official word that's been given. BTW is this two-part tweet. Will there be more coming in the future? I believe so, but will yet to be known. But I'm hard pressed to think that this would be an official response to the lack of coverage.
This would be like the official.
This is it.
Okay, here's the tweet. It's two-parter, as Maria said. First, as we begin to focus on Mythic Championships and the Magic Pro League, we're adjusting our coverage for tournaments at Magic Fest. For New Jersey forward, we'll be posting critical end of tournament information on Sunday evening instead of round by round postings here and on our sites. Fans can still expect to see top 8 deck lists and tournament results on Sunday evenings.
Okay.
And this has ye good old 210 comment replies as opposed to 20 likes. So I think that we all can understand how other people are feeling about this.
Yes. And so I guess here's the thing, like both of us work for Grand Prix coverage, so we are entrenched in this. And there's a lot of things we cannot comment on officially. But I can say that I loved doing it. I loved watching it.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't working New Jersey this weekend or whatever, I would have been like, fine, because, you know, we didn't work every Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to be able to turn it on and watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a new limited set. It's so exciting. I just would have loved to see it. So it makes me sad that it wasn't here.
Yeah.
And this tweet specifically talks about text coverage. And so what we're losing here, according to this tweet, is there was round by round postings and pairings based on, you could go and check out your friends and see how they were doing at the tournament, and but tons of articles that were posted throughout the tournament, photos, tweets about how people were doing, and then of course the top 8 profiles once we got to the top 8 on Sunday, and then a big winner picture and all this kind of stuff. All of that stuff, from what I can tell from this tweet, is something that they're not concerned with going forward. Just posting the top 8 deck lists and like the top 8 from Sunday. Is that right? Is that what I can assume from this tweet?
It certainly seems to be what most people are assuming.
Okay.
The general assumptions seem to be that there is not going to be GP coverage.
Yes.
That what we will get out of a GP is top 8 player profiles, top 8 deck lists. Basically the end. So that seems to be the general assumption that people are running with right now.
But
and we do not have an official announcement yet.
Yeah, that is not 100% confirmed. All the things that we said, all that's confirmed is literally those words that were in those 2 tweets. So
I assume that we'll be getting more.
Yes, be getting more
soon?
about that soon, because I just can't fathom that we wouldn't be. But yeah, personally, I love watching GPs. Could the coverage of GPs be better? Like I believe that it could, and I do believe that it's also not that difficult to make it better, and that it has been steadily improving over the years as well. Absolutely. Losing it on the whole would make me extremely sad, because I love following those tournaments. That was our first connection to competitive Magic, was watching and attending, Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And just the story of having, thousands of people playing in this tournament and all getting down to the top 8 and somebody winning it all by making the right meta call, maybe an unknown player, very often like an unknown player who then like makes a big run at the Pro Tour or tries to make a run of it or starts grinding or something like that, whatever. It makes me really sad to lose that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There were a bunch of takes about this on Twitter too. My one that I'm going to call my personal favorite is Reed Duke tweeting out that his mom was very sad about the reduction in Grand Prix coverage.
My mom is very disappointed. Wow.
Oh, great. Don't make Reed Duke's mom sad. That's the saddest thing I can think of right now.
There you go. Some of the other things that I've seen that I have connected with more is also people pointing out that a lot of times Grand Prix coverage is the way that we get to see more female and non-binary players out there. It's the way that we get to see, players from more diverse backgrounds than honestly what you get out of the Magic Pro League.
Absolutely.
And if we lose all that coverage, we're losing all of this visibility that we've worked really hard for in the past couple of years for those players.
Yeah.
Especially for female players.
100%.
It's just it's all of a sudden it's gone.
It's gone.
Completely gone.
Yes.
It's 100% gone.
So we don't know what's going to happen with these arena invitational events in the future, which, very well could involve more females or non-binary people or whatever as part of these tournaments. But my point still stands about that. I would feel a huge hit for the loss of these tournaments on the weekend, which of course there's no official word on or anything like that, just pulling from what people are kind of assuming online.
Yeah. I think also the other take that I've seen that I also resonated with me is that it felt like in the winter we were kind of being sold this idea of the Magic Pro League being a new investment in Magic. Yeah. And I'll just say it, it's not an investment if what you're doing is canceling something else to do it. Yeah. That just means that you're restructuring. Reallocating. Exactly. You're reallocating. It's not a vote of confidence in something new. It's not actually expanding anything. It's just being where it's not an investment if you're not actually investing something new into it. Right. And I guess it just kind of feels like that's a lot less inspiring to me. To be oh, you just canceled one thing in order to create another. Yeah. I would have liked to see them actually create something new.
So
without it being at the expense of something else.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Right? It feels kind of like,
and maybe they didn't want to, and this is a budget concern or whatever.
Yes.
We don't know these things. But
it's like someone gives you a sweater and you're like, thank you, I'm so excited for this sweater. And then later on you go to your yarn stash and you realize that they just took your yarn to make the sweater. Like, sure, you're happy to have the sweater, kind of, but you're also like, what?
Why did
That
you just
was
take my yarn?
I thought that you were just giving me a sweater.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Perfect analogy.
Thank you.
Like, we don't exactly know what they're doing with the MPL, but if I had to like make some guesses about it, it would be like, doing events, with MPL versus MPL on the weekends or whatever. And maybe they were concerned, if what happens, what people are assuming about GPs going away, that they would compete with each other.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, like, that's not really, they're two kind of separate things.
They're different things.
I would switch between them. I would watch both.
Exactly. None of this to say that I'm not still excited for the MPL. I'm super excited to watch that. There's lots of people that we are like so invested in how they do on a professional level, on a personal level, because we call them our friends.
Yes. There's for me personally, there is no replacement for thousands of players large tournament.
Yeah.
There just isn't. There just isn't. You cannot have the amount of diversity in decks and people in the storyline of the exciting stories that we're going to see coming out of this. Sure, we're going to get those in the MPL to a lesser extent. Yeah. But we won't get the surprises. We won't get the shocks. We won't get the cool stories that we saw coming out of Grand Prix. Just like, it won't happen. Like, we'll get something, but it won't be that.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Hopefully we get a statement from Wizards of the Coast at some point in the near future about what exactly is going to be happening with this, what exactly is being, changed around, because right now all we know is those literal 2 tweets and everything else is just speculation about that kind of stuff.
So, other questions.
Okay, next question.
Is it possible to play Rhythm of the Wild without singing Rhythm of the Night?
Well, I'm gonna say yes because I've never done that, but maybe no.
For you, that feels like a personal. That feels like a personal question that each of us has to ask ourselves. Yeah, and then answer seriously for ourselves.
I have a good tip though. If you ever get a song stuck in your head, like Rhythm of the Night, I've heard that you're supposed to sing "Row, row, row your boat" to yourself really slowly, which is, to be fair, quite creepy, but will help banish the song that's stuck in your head.
Row, row. Row your boat.
This is a horror movie preview.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Victorian baby turning its head all the way around and staring at you.
I was gonna say, for me, it's like it is a little boat out on like a completely pitch black lake at night.
Oh yes.
And it's just a person sitting and paddling in it.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they turn around and they have like a skeleton face.
Too bad this isn't Flavor Text Theater, because I am sponsoring that film. Skeleton face in a boat.
Skeleton face in a boat. Anyways.
People would go.
What's your take on the standard meta right now? What decks are your favorites? We are going to talk about this a little bit more later on when we talk about it. So I'll just say your answer comes later.
Yeah, it is coming up. We're going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Zalakar asks, from a commander view, which Allegiance legendary creature do you think would make the most fun to play commander deck?
Judith.
Maria's just going to answer that no matter what.
Judith, I love her. She's great. She's got a great name. She's a Scourge Diva. What do you want? I'd also pick Rakdos Showstopper, because flipping that many coins in a game of Commander seems like a lot of fun or horrible, depending on your commander group and how many times Rakdos is going to be leaving play.
Hold on. I'm going to think about this for a second.
Okay. There's only a few.
Yeah, I'm going to look through them all because I want to know.
Yeah, those are the 2 Rakdos ones that I mentioned, which I mean is really on brand with my life, but there you go.
Know what Maria wants.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you could do Prime Speaker Vanifar. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like probably lots of people are out there yelling at this Prime Speaker Vanifar. I kind of like the idea of maybe Teysa Karlov
I think Teysa would be
having
really cool.
a really cool sacrifice deck.
Yeah.
Which could even go, yeah. That would be pretty cool. So
Go
there's
with
my,
Judith.
but they can't be in the same one because they're different colors.
You're right. Never mind. What am I saying?
Part of me would kind of love to see someone play a Nikya of the old ways, just like massive creature deck.
Huge mana deck.
Huge creatures.
That's
just
cool.
Creatures for days.
Creatures for days. I'm into
the
it.
biggest creatures out there.
I love it.
Same.
Get
yeah.
hoofed. Yeah, but you've got some cool options in the set. And
I mean, I would play. Let's be honest. It's blue-white. I would play Dovin. I would create a sick like little Thopter deck somehow.
Ooh, a Thopter deck would be cool.
Yes, with like Thopter Spy Network, stuff like that.
Yes.
Thopters.
I hope they make some more commander decks for us in the future because those have been super fun to play with.
They really have.
All right, hit me with your best shot, and by best shot I mean another question.
All right.
These ones are from Twitter.
Yes. Here we go. First we have, is the International Wine and Decklist Club taking new members? The answer is always. Always. Honestly, anytime, if you at any point even just hold a deck and sip a glass of wine,
you're in.
You are part of the club at that moment.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You are in the International Wine and Decklist Club. Have you ever, if you have ever, sipped wine?
And if you're curious to this is a series we did on our YouTube channel with various Magic celebrities.
Yes, you can go and find them. The very first one was with Kathleen.
Yeah.
From Loading Ready Run.
Yeah.
It's delightful.
Just great. Wine and decklist pairings.
Exactly. We're not in it. Some very fancy ladies are in it.
Oh, no, it's not us.
No, it's not us.
Definitely not.
We highly recommend it.
All right, next question.
Go ahead.
Stephen Wright asks, do you think WotC missed an opportunity to have a diverse top 32 MPL, geography, gender, age, etc.? So people have been talking about this question.
A lot.
And the way they did it was they just went straight down the list.
Straight down the list.
Skipped a couple of people, to be fair, in order to have somebody from the APAC region. So I guess like if you're doing this the first year, I guess that's the most like quote unquote fair way to do it with no knowledge beforehand of how to make an entrance into the MPL.
I guess here's my argument for it is if you are making something called the Magic Pro League and it's completely new
and it's arbitrary, so you can just choose.
Exactly. If it's new, guess what? You get to choose.
That's
you get
true.
to make the rules. It's not called the Magic Top 32 League.
True.
So I guess I do think that they could have made different choices. How would that have made it better?
Yeah.
For people who would like to see greater diversity as part of it, certainly.
I do wonder what's going to happen next year with how they choose the members, because we don't know.
That's been a huge question on my mind, even as I know this one just got started, but as I look at it and I look at people, like ranking up on Arena and playing Arena in different ways and then continuing to play paper Magic, it's been a huge question on my mind. Like, if that was your goal, is like, I want to make the Magic Pro League, how
do you do it?
How?
We don't know.
I do feel like it was a missed opportunity for them as they were constructing something new to say, what are the ways that we can construct this, that we are representing people, all of the people who play Magic in the best possible way.
And how do we make sure that this continues year to year without people being horrendously angry about the decisions we make and the choices we make in this? Like, it's a super complicated question.
Can you imagine having a full-time job that you might lose, like year to year, you just know that you might lose it?
I mean, isn't that all jobs?
You're not wrong, but it's very different from being
different.
Like in a business environment where you're like, oh, I know that I'm, for instance, like I'm building this business or I'm climbing this ladder, and to just be like, who knows?
I don't know. I mean, it is a precarious position for these people. That's a lot of P's to use in one sentence.
Yeah.
But they don't know. I mean, maybe they know now, but we don't know how they qualify for the next year. How do they make sure they stay on the train? Like, if nobody watches their streams and stuff, they're going to be like, well, Bye.
Exactly. And it's like, how are they to know that that was part of it if they're not laying it out literally right now?
I don't know.
How are they to know? And how are they supposed to succeed by these metrics?
I don't know. Maybe
If they are invisible.
Maybe they told them this past weekend. They were all up in Seattle this past week having a little conference. So maybe they know and we just don't. But
That's true.
Yeah.
But it still seems like if you're looking at people who want to aspire to it, they need to know those things.
Yes, absolutely.
Because also imagine if you were someone who's like, I want to be part of the Magic Pro League, and then you make it and they're like, by the way, part of it is that you have to have a stream that has this many viewers, and you're like, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
But I never knew.
No.
So
Still waiting on that one.
so many different discussions to be had about the Magic Pro League this week.
We could go all day.
In summary, why don't we know more things? Well, there we go.
Gerardo asks, will we get a multicolored Jace Planeswalker in the upcoming set?
Great question. I imagine they're asking because of
War of the
War of the Spark and all of these different planeswalkers with all of their different ambitions and goals coming to Ravnica. Maybe Jace does become, maybe he becomes blue-white in the spirit of the Azorius and wanting to keep things in. Yeah, maybe he becomes blue-black. Maybe he just continues to be himself and it is blue.
That's what I would guess. But, you know.
I mean, we saw Nissa go blue-green.
That's true. We did.
On Amonkhet, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I don't know.
So.
Okay, we saw Garrick gain black, which was kind of spooky.
So who knows? As spooky as slowly singing row, row, row your boat.
Oh, somebody else wants to know our predictions of War of the Spark. Katie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what are your predictions?
Right now, who knows? Okay, here's my prediction.
Ooh, okay. All right.
A member of the Gatewatch dies.
Absolutely.
If they don't, I'll be so mad.
I'm 100% in on that prediction.
Yeah.
100%. Somebody else recently told me that their prediction was that there would be a planeswalker in every pack, but a lot of them would be severely underpowered. And I was like,
that's too much.
Can you imagine playing a draft with like somebody that's 5 planeswalkers up?
Yeah.
No,
like,
thank you.
What if there's a planeswalker, like even at uncommon?
Oh,
a planeswalker
weird.
At uncommon.
That's weird.
Kaya could be at uncommon right now and no one would play her anyways. So
True. Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Yeah, my prediction is like what we talked about on an episode a few episodes ago, which was like that we think that it's going to be the war for the power to ignite Planeswalker Sparks.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
I do want to see, member of the Gatewatch dies, or member of the Gatewatch loses their spark. Or
it has to be a normie.
Or has to give up their spark.
You know what? Yes, that's what it is. Somebody has to sacrifice their spark to save the universe.
Wow.
Or maybe all of the Gatewatch does, except Jace, because Lord knows Jace isn't going anywhere.
Okay, 4 of them have to sacrifice it, and Jace dies. Fine, you sold me.
There you go.
You sold me.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I've got so far.
Next question.
Wait,
what?
Q.
Go for it.
What if Bully wins?
You know what? I'm fine with it.
Same.
Reset. Hit the reset button. I'm down.
What if they're all just gone?
I think I'm also fine with it. I'll miss Liliana and stuff.
We go back to the Big Bang of Magic.
Ooh, the Big Bang of Magic?
Like all of the planes. Okay, so in the heat death of the universe situation, instead, this is not that kind. It's the kind where it has enough mass to collapse back in on itself eventually to stop expanding and start collapsing.
Okay.
And it all of the planes just start recollapsing together. So they all get weird mashed up.
Tiny little.
And then and then everything's gone.
Great.
And then it all explodes into new planes again.
We're going to make a vision board about this.
I don't know. This is my vision board for it.
We're big advocates for complete destruction of a lot of stuff in Magic, and anyway.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Christopher Harris asks, how do you improve on the little things in Magic? I've been playing for about a year, but I still miss triggers, tap the wrong lands, and make other small misplays all the time. I also feel like Arena makes this worse since it does it all for me.
Ooh, this is an excellent question.
Yes.
And something that we have faced personally, of course.
Yeah.
The Arena thing I'll come to at the end, but like, honestly, you've been playing for about a year. That's not a long time relative in the Magic world. So it's just a matter of doing things a lot and playing with these decks in whatever format you want to be playing with them well in.
Yeah.
So like Arena's great and it can help you practice for tournaments, but honestly, go to your local game store and play it in person.
So true.
Before you go to a big event and want to win with it.
Because you just need to get, honestly,
It's
you just
physical.
need to get the feeling
it's
back.
muscle memory, honestly. It really is. It's like playing golf or whatever, or riding a bike. Your body will remember to do these things if you're doing it physically out in person.
I would also say, I'll be honest, you're going to continue to make those mistakes. I don't know that there will ever be a time where you won't make them.
And all the pros make them too.
Exactly. It'll be way less. You will make it,
Yeah.
Maybe you will make that mistake once every 6 months, as opposed to you feel like once every pre-release that you play or whatever. But also just being kind with yourself when it happens and remembering like, hey, it's just a game of Magic.
Yeah.
It's one game of Magic. And everyone makes mistakes and it's okay.
A little tip that we have on the show and that you might have heard of is to put dice on top of your library to remind yourself of a trigger that you don't want to miss on your upkeep.
Yeah.
That's something that I do. And I've in fact moved that for anything that I want to remember on the start, near the start of my turn. I will put the dice there. For instance, like what's the name of the card? The black, red 2 fire something or other in Rakdos for this set that lets you sacrifice a creature.
Oh yeah. Fireblade Artist.
Fireblade Artist. So I would put my dice there to remind myself that, we're in my upkeep.
Did I just remember the name of a Rakdos card when Maria didn't?
You did.
Wow.
You really did. I didn't have to know it for GP New Jersey, so I'm like,
here we are.
What's the name of that card? That helps me remember my triggers too. That's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I also think that having some kind of mindfulness or meditation practice in your life is super helpful. Whether it's you do a little bit of yoga every day, whether it's that you actually practice meditation every day or once a week or something like that, but just something that gets your body in the habit of slowing down and being very present. I've always found that when I'm actively practicing that in the rest of my life, it does impact my Magic and it becomes a lot easier to keep track of that stuff because my focus is a little bit more honed and my brain's a little bit better at just holding on to only the task at hand. So yeah, that's something to consider. Plus, it's just nice to have in your life.
So true. Something I do if I feel myself having too much nervous energy before a game or before anything, really. This is a theater technique called, it has a name, the Sarnoff Squeeze.
I don't feel comfortable with that name.
If you're watching the video, you can see me do it, but you're basically pressing your two hands together in front of your chest with your elbows at 90-degree angles as hard as you can. And then you're supposed to do a little bit of breathing with it too, like out through the nose, in through the mouth or whatever. And that helps use up excess energy that you have. If you feel like, I feel like you do better through triggers and all that stuff if you're in a calmer state of mind, which plays to Megan's point. Anyway, Google it.
All right. Grizzly 413th asks, what's your favorite RNA draft archetype?
Gates.
Ooh. Wow.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The Gates deck is dumb and very, very good if you can get it to come together, and is almost unbeatable if you do it correctly.
Mine is High Alert.
Ooh, nice.
Love it. Also, later on, I'll talk about it more in a different segment, but High Alert.
Yeah, High Alert. Great.
And then Scary Eric asks, I don't know if you can answer this, but are either of you scheduled for MF coverage this year? Well, we can't answer that. We can't.
But thank you for asking.
But, yes.
So yeah, if you have some more questions, you can go over to our Discord if you're a member of our Patreon and stick them in there. Or you can just tweet at us because we like questions at any point, on Twitter. We'll try and answer to the best of our ability. We're at GLHF Magic. And it's so funny. I was just having this discussion this weekend about how Twitter became the place where Magic lives kind of in the social media sphere, which I think is so strange.
It is strange.
But it did.
It is. Everyone, it's time for a standard corner.
Just your average everyday corner.
90 degrees.
And this one happened in Indianapolis.
That's right. The SCG Open was in Indianapolis this weekend, and we got to see some new hot takes on what's brewing in Standard now that Ravnica.
This
has happened so many times today. Ravnica Allegiance has hit the tables.
Yes, so what's changing? What new hotness are people slapping down and swinging in sideways or fogging you with?
So, as we see sometimes in the aftermath of a new set, there are two types of decks that we tend to see clogging the field by the beginning. Sometimes it trends towards aggro decks,
Yep.
and we'll see a hot ton of aggro decks hit the battlefield early, or we'll see a bunch of mid-range decks that just take all of the best cards of
like,
any two or three color combination and just jam them all together. And we saw the mid-range one hit the tables a little bit more this weekend.
Yeah.
So the tournament was won by Anthony Davardi playing Sultai mid-range.
Okay, Sultai mid-range. Well,
yes.
This deck appears to be fairly similar to the green-black grindy mid-range decks of our previous set.
Yes, with things like Jade Light Rangers, Carnage Tyrants, lots of Explore, lots of Wild Growth Walkers to gain a bunch of life.
Ravenous Choops.
Yep, but it now has, oh, I love this card, Hydroid Crassus.
Welcome to the party, Hydroid Crassus. And this is an example of just jamming the best card.
Exactly.
In the format.
This deck, in fact, particularly, like you said, took that Golgari mid-range deck and was like, and here's 3 copies of Hydroid Crassus.
Just put this in there. Boop.
Get it in there.
So this card is kind of nutty. I mean, it does it all. It's a flying trampler. It expands with how much mana you have. It gains you life. It draws you cards. I literally don't know what else you want in a card.
And as people have pointed out, even if this gets countered, they just don't get the body. They still get the cards and the life.
Yeah.
Because it's when you cast this spell.
So it's like extra good.
Yes.
Versus any control running around.
Oof.
Which we will probably see in the future because control needs to know what it's controlling before it can control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really do. We also saw Bant midrange take second place. This had 4 copies of Angel of Grace.
What does this angel do?
This is the 5 mana, 3 white for a 5/4 flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1. Reduces. What is...
Send help. Send help.
Reduces that into 1 instead.
Oh.
4 white, angel, exile it from your graveyard. Your life total becomes 10.
Okay.
So that was a double white card.
Oh,
Next up is a double green, double blue Frilled Mystic, as you pointed out. Also 4 copies of Growth Chamber Guardian.
This is going to be a standard all-star.
Yes,
for sure.
This is the 2/2 for 1 and a green. It adapts 2 for just 2 and a green, so it becomes a 4/4. And you can go and get another copy of it when you adapt it.
You remember that, what was it, Legion's Lieutenant from Ixalan?
Yes.
Where you could go find other copies of it in your deck. And
it's
you're
like that, but better.
You're like, who cares? It's just a 2/2. And then you're like, wait a second, this card's really good.
Yeah.
And this is just way better.
Just way better. This also has Shalai, 2 Teferi, 4 History of Benalia.
Seeing some real spice down this list here.
2 Settle the Wreckage. This deck just got real weird.
It's the 1 March of the Multitudes I got my
that's
eye
really
on. Great.
Okay.
2 Depose. What is that?
Depose.
Oh, tap target creature, draw a card, or make 2 Thopters.
All right. That's a weird inclusion.
Yeah.
But
okay. Sure. That's second place. Bant midrange.
That's right. In third place is a friend of the show,
Yay!
Max Magnuson.
Great job, Max. Playing Azorius aggro, which really could be called mono white aggro, except for the inclusion of Deputy of Detention.
That's right, which is a pretty sweet include, to be fair.
True.
It also has 4 copies of Tithe Taker. This is a new Allegiance card. This is the one that says during your turn, spells your opponent's cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponent's activates cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities, plus Afterlife 1. So that's nice. I mean, if someone can't settle you until turn 5 instead of turn 4.
It's a big difference.
Huge difference. But other than that, like you said, just the classic white weenie creatures hanging around in there.
I will say that the inclusion of blue gives gives you access to negate and spell pierce out of the sideboard, which can be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So you're losing red, you're not getting your heroic reinforcements, which a lot of times is like pretty unbeatable if you have the nut draw. But you get access to a teensy bit more controlling version, which is kind of neat to see.
Yeah, coming up in 4th, we have our first control list, Esper Control, with classic win condition, Chromium, Fortifairy, and then, you know, the usual batch of counter spells and kill spells. 4 copies of Absorb.
Ooh, nice.
This is a new Allegiance card. The white, blue. It's a reprint. Instant, counter target spell, you gain 3 life. Pretty nice. 2 copies of Mortify as well. 3 of Precognitive Perception.
This
is my favorite. But it's so good. This is 3 blue, instant, draw 3 cards. Addendum, if you cast the spell during your main phase, instead scry 3, then draw 3.
And only 1 Chemist's Insight.
Yeah.
And 3 of those.
And 3 Kaya's Wrath.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay.
I'm a fan of this list.
That seems cool.
I'm into it.
This was my favorite deck that I saw in the top 8, which is Wyatt Darby, Pro Tour Dominaria champion, Esper Midrange.
Yes.
And I've been kind of trending a little bit more towards mid-range and best of 3 that I've been playing on Arena for some reason. I don't really know why.
Maria.
I know. I'm changing my
What?
stripes. I was playing that Angels list, and I just liked how powerful all my creatures were.
Yeah.
It was a very strange feeling.
This has 4 Basilica Bellhaunt.
That's bizarre. This is white, black for 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card and you gain 3 life. Which is a very powerful effect, but that mana cost.
I know. It's wild. But at the same time, if you were expecting mono red, get
you're
this
right.
sucker out there.
You're right. That's pretty good.
That gets you a lot. We also have Hero of Precinct 1.
Nice.
4 copies of it.
Make me some humans.
2 Hostage Taker.
Okay.
Nice. 3 Seraph of the Scales.
This is the angel that gets either Vigilance or Death Touch. Afterlife 2, I think, is the most important part of that.
Beautiful. 3 Thief of Sanity to try and steal your opponent's cards. 2 Lyra. 2 Dovin.
Okay.
This feels like a deck that was sort of like, hey, what kind of home can we find for Dovin? Grand Arbiter, because even though it is blue-white, it's not a controlling planeswalker.
No.
It's certainly a mid-range or slightly aggro one. So this deck list does look pretty cool.
Isn't it
I agree with you.
I like new cards. I like people seeing, experimenting with new strategies in the format. So, you know, these other decks are good, I'm sure, but I'm bored. I want to see new stuff, and this deck is full of new stuff.
Yeah. Very cool. So going on down the line, we had an Is It Drake's list, another Esper Control, Sultai Midrange. We didn't see Mono Red Aggro until 10th.
Oh, interesting.
Which is pretty nice. And then we didn't see it again until 13th. So not a ton of those. We also had a 4-color Gates deck at 20th.
Yeah. I just got to double check what's in this deck because I've been playing, I think I built this in Standard on Arena just for funsies, and maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me this deck is the real deal. I'm not sure if I believe them yet. 3 Gate Colossus, 2 Archway Angel, 2 Gatebreaker Ram, 4 Hydrate Crassus, and then, of course, you've got Gates Ablaze, Circuitous Root, Guild Summit, all the stuff you expect. 2 copies of Mass Manipulation, which is
nice,
very funny to me. I guess why not?
I like it.
Yeah, maybe I'll build this. I certainly have all the cards, except for, Hydrate Crates is a mythic.
Yeah.
But everything else is not hard to put together, other than Hydrate Crates and the land. But but there you go. And your favorite deck from last Standard, Is It Drake, still kicking.
Yeah, which I
And
appreciate.
There's a new addition in that deck.
I know, the little Terramander.
Yeah.
Our little 1 mana, 1/1 flying. And then later on, I've had people adapt it for a single blue mana.
Of course.
It's 7 and a blue to adapt 4, so it becomes a 5/5 flyer.
Nice.
But it costs 1 less to adapt for every instant or sorcery in your graveyard.
Makes sense.
Woof. Pretty good. Pretty good.
And it becomes a 5/5, which is relevant to Lava Coil. Can't hit that.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of this new state of Standard for you.
If you've got a Standard deck that you particularly like, somebody sent us a persistent petitioners deck list. Feel free to send it our way at GLHF Magic. And will we be playing bad mill decks? I don't know. We stream 3 days a week, so maybe
we sure get around to a lot of bad decks.
Let's talk Ravnica Allegiance Limited with Grand Prix New Jersey.
Yes, speaking of the Gates deck.
Yeah.
We got to see, or we didn't get to see.
No, we didn't.
We didn't get to see it, didn't we?
Face.
There was a Gates deck drafted by Sam Black, who 3-0'd with it, and then posted a photo of it,
It
just
is
being like,
so good.
What I warned you, essentially, I want to say. 3-0, I tried to warn them.
He says it's not the best Gates deck because there's only how many gates in this? 1, 2, 3,
8.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, there's only 8.
He's like, there's only 8, but everything else about it I think is so funny. The deck is just, it's got 2 cavalry. What is this Pegasus called again? Concordia Pegasus.
Concordia Pegasus.
There's been so many 1/3 Pegasuses, you people.
It's got a Gatebreaker Ram, a Gateway Sneak.
Excellent.
My favorite, 3 copies of Gate Colossus.
Yes.
3 copies.
3 Archway Angel and a Pitiless Pontiff, and that is it. Those are all the creatures, just 9.
Beautiful.
By the way, Gateway Colossus is like almost impossible to deal with for your opponent.
It's an 8/8.
and it comes back because you just play a gate and you're like, well, now I have it back.
Yep.
But I've put that card in decks that don't have a lot of gates and perfectly fine with it because it's just a good creature.
2 copies of Gates Ablaze.
Nice. We're doing it.
Wrath it.
And
Wrath
then
it away.
a bunch of spells that just kill your opponent kill your opponent's creature, stop them from attacking you, or draw cards that you need.
Sphinx's Insight.
Shimmer Possibility.
Yes, I see a Dovin's Acuity in here, perhaps.
Yeah, and a Bedevil.
And a Bedevil.
How about you run Bedevil in the same deck with Dovin's Acuity?
Yes.
Great.
Beautiful.
I love this deck.
What a world. What a good world we live in.
It's
sometimes.
so fun. Yeah, but it is taking over online, and it is very, very hard to beat.
Yeah.
It is possible, obviously, because they're going to be a lot slower than you. But
Yeah.
but once it gets going, its engine going, it's kind of hard to stop.
Yeah.
So that's been one of my favorite decks to mess around with, and I've certainly drafted bad versions of the Gates deck too. Don't just go into every draft thinking, "Oh, well, I'm going to get it," or it's going to be there for me, because it won't. You know, it's a little tricky deck. But yeah. Anyway, can we find out who won this thing and who was in our top 8? Because there were a couple of big names.
We can try.
Let's try. So I do know that Paulo Vitor Damadurosa made the top 8, and so did Christian Calcano.
Wow, what a top 8.
And by the way,
I wish we could have watched it.
I mean, I'm serious. I love watching the first Grand Prix after a set is released. Oh, it makes me so sad. Anyway, so the winner is Max Williams.
Yes.
A winner of GP New Jersey. But I was going to talk about Christian Calcano briefly. He won a PTQ on Friday at this event, Magic Fest New Jersey, and then got in the top 8. So he was having one heck of a weekend. So congrats
Yeah,
to him.
congrats to him.
Wow.
Nice. And then
And Paulo, of course.
Paulo.
Like,
all right.
Unbelievable, this human being. He was undefeated day 1.
Dang.
Colin Roundtree's a name we know, and he was in the top 8.
Stephen King out there playing some Magic.
This guy's name is really Stephen King?
There's a guy out here named Stephen King.
Wow.
That's pretty great.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
What a life. What a life. Anyways, we can take a quick look at their deck lists, I think.
I want to know what they drafted.
Same.
There they are.
Okay, Max Williams. One. Ooh, this looks
is
like
a Rakdos aggro.
a nice little Rakdos aggro
Oh,
deck.
cool. We've got 2 Plague Whites, which is a very tough creature to deal with sometimes on the field.
A Fireblade Artist, which you like.
Yes.
2
Hackrobat.
Hackrobat.
Yes.
Pretty good. Goreclan Wrecker, which I've been very happy with.
Yeah, me too,
Very
actually.
impressed with. 3 in a red for a 2/2 Menace and Riot.
Yeah, that card is very annoying.
Ooh, a nice Rixmati Reveler.
Maybe that was the pack 1 pick 1.
Yeah. 2 Rubble Belt Recluse.
That's a 6/5?
Yeah, 4 in a red for a 6/5 that attacks each combat if able. Just solid. A Rakdos Firewheeler.
Card's so good.
2 Rakdos Roustabouts. This looks quite good.
And a Theater of Horrors. This deck seems awesome.
Oh yeah, look at that.
No wonder he won.
Nice.
This deck's
That's a
great.
really solid deck.
All right, so what did this next person, Dylan, draft?
Dylan Gellis looks like he drafted a pretty straightforward Gruul deck.
Ooh, it looks good too.
Yeah.
Couple Territorial Borers, a Zertog Goblin that can be a 3/3 for 2.
Yeah.
2 Frenzied Arnix, which is a real beater.
Yep. 2 Savage Smash.
This
which
deck
is
looks great.
also solid. Then we've got Brian Maybes.
Maybe.
Maybes. This is also a Rakdos deck. It looks a little bit. It's just a little bit less impressive.
Yeah.
Is what I see. Not, all of the creatures are just like a hair below.
Yeah.
Paolo, who had what looks like an Orzhov deck. This looks like a nice.
No 3 colors yet.
I really like Debtor's Transport. I love this.
The marshmallow. Man.
This is the 5 and a black for Afterlife 2, 5/3. God, that Afterlife 2. When
so
people play
good.
this against me, you're just like, I don't want to kill it. I don't want to give them 2 spirits.
I know. It sucks.
That's a lot. 2 spirits is worth a card by itself. It feels like getting 2 for 1 if you spend a card to kill this.
He's running Glass of the Guild Pact, by the way, in this deck.
Oh.
Which
all right. Well,
gives
there we
multicolored
go.
creatures +1/+1.
I mean, if it looks like he's got a fair amount of, he has 3 copies of Grasping Thrall.
Ooh, make a 4/4. I get
4/4,
okay.
4/4 flyer, and all those little spirits are going to be black-white.
Syndicate Guild Mage. Nice. Teysa, too.
Oh, all right.
All right. His deck looks kind of good.
Also looks very good. And an Ill-Gotten Inheritance.
More
We
words
like that.
about that card.
Yeah, more, for sure. Christian Calcano looks like he drafted an Azorius deck. Wait, no, this is 4 color.
Is he? Yeah, he was trying to do the gates thing here.
Gotcha.
We got a lot of gates in the lands.
Yeah, look at that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gates.
2 copies of Gates Ablaze.
To open the gates to seize the day. Yeah. So Christian Calcano is our gates deck at the table.
Gates deck at the table. And then next we have what looks like another Orzhov deck
from Chase Masters, which
this is a Kaya's Wrath in it.
Nice. Yeah, a perfectly fine Orzhov deck there.
Yep. And then we have now we have our Simic deck. Very nice.
Colin Roundtree.
Yep. With a Frilled Mystic in it.
Ooh,
Pretty
Galloping
sweet.
Lizrog.
Chillbringer. What a card.
Chillbringer's
We've
so
talked
good.
about it before.
Yeah.
Chillbringer, quite the card.
Stephen King. Ooh, I bet he drafted something spooky.
Out here. And he's playing a little Esper deck.
Ooh, cool.
That's it looks like it's splashing only for Seraph of the Scales. I want to say is the only black card that I'm seeing, and a Mortify.
No, that's worth it.
Yeah, this deck looks very... and an Ethereal Absolution.
So a lot of the top tables apparently going into day 2 were like mono Ethereal Absolution.
I believe that.
Like, seriously.
Card is so good.
It's so good.
So good.
And 2 Azorius Knight Arbiters with... I mean, you don't even need the Ethereal Absolution,
This deck is super impressive to me as well.
This deck looks great.
Yeah.
Turns out the top 8 knows how to draft.
Wow.
Because these decks, I really like a lot of them.
Agreed. Agreed.
So yeah, there's the thing. Like I think on
let's go through and see. We had an Azorius deck.
Yes.
We had an Orzhov deck.
2
Orzhovs.
Yep.
We had a Gruul. We had a Gruul. We had a Simic. We had a Rakdos. 2 Rakdos
and a Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people were all cooperating. It looks at least to the most extent.
And we didn't see any. No deck got shut out. No archetype got shut out of the top 8.
No.
Which is nice to see.
Really cool. I think for me personally, my challenge or something I want to do more on Arena is drafting 2 color decks in this format.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to draft 3 colors.
I know. I've been drafting mostly 2 color decks. We've talked about this some.
Did we?
That my preference is for 2 color decks in this format.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we did.
I don't feel like, sometimes I feel like the consistency, I
You're going to have to pay the price.
Yeah.
You have to remember that.
Sometimes you lose because your deck isn't quite as consistent.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're drafting the Gates deck, let me just tell you about, what is it, Sky Tether? It's a single white mana.
Oh, yeah. Card is solid.
I mean, it's excellent in that deck. Okay, because you want cheap ways to deal with your opponent's creatures. That's my secret tech for you.
Wow.
Or not so secret, whatever.
Nice.
Anyway, nice. Before we go, we quickly wanted to have a what is this card moment with you all. More to come in the future, I'm sure, but just
right now.
Right now. This is
all right.
what our
Maria.
feeling. Yeah.
What card are you whatting about?
What card are you whatting about?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a beef with a card, and its name is Ill-Gotten Inheritance. What is this card? Excuse me, 4 mana, and then I just sit there and do nothing for the rest of the game, and then I win? What is this card?
Not only do they lose, like, do I lose life, but they get to gain a life when my opponent is playing.
It back?
They gain a life.
I did a lot of hard work trying to get you down to 5, and now you're going to go all the way back up to 20?
I'm attacking you. I've been attacking you. I'm doing my job
You're
the
not
way
doing
that
anything.
all of those creature players say I'm supposed to do my job.
You're just sitting there on the couch eating Durangos and paying 6 mana to kill me from 4? What is this card?
And what is this card? It is so frustrating to be like, do you know what? I think I've got this game on lockdown, and your opponent all of a sudden flips the script on you by doing the minimal amount of work.
Paying 4 mana. That's what you did. You paid
they played
4
a single
mana.
card.
Good job. Do you want a medal? You did. You did it. You paid 3 to black and you played this card and now you win. You know what? What else I have to say about this card? The other day I played against somebody who played 3 of them in a single game.
What?
And
what?
then I learned that Marshall had drafted 4 of them and played all 4.
It's common? Because it's common and you just can?
And then I heard about somebody who played 5 in their deck and they would have played more. All of you are monsters. What is this card?
What is this card?
I'm so done with this card. It's not even funny. Way better than it looks, by the way. Megan, what's your what is this card?
High alert. High alert. What is this card? Oh, you're just going to play a 2/5 hexproof, but actually it's a 5/5 hexproof? It's a 5/5 hexproof. You're going to play a 1/4 flyer for 3 mana, but then actually it's a 4/4 flyer for 3 mana? High alert. What is this card? And Summary Judgment, great removal card in the format, but guess the frick what?
What?
High alert, you can just pay 4 mana, untap a creature. Can they kill it anymore?
No.
Did they have to, you know, make themselves vulnerable by attacking and leaving themselves vulnerable to a counterattack? No. Because they can just pay 4 mana, and guess what? It's untapped now.
Hey, you know what power was invented for? Power was invented for what your power is when you're attacking.
Exactly.
Not your toughness.
Do you know what toughness was invented for?
What?
Just to be toughness.
Oh, interesting.
It's just supposed to be how tough you are. What if how tough you are is suddenly how strong you are? Does how strong you are even mean anything anymore? No.
High alert, what is this card?
What is this card?
There you go. Those are our first 2 what is this card.
What is this card?
It's time to talk about Ultra Pro and some of the new cool stuff they have out with Ravnica Allegiance.
That's right. We've already talked some about their guild sleeves.
They're
but
so good.
every time I see them, I see them in the wild.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, those are gorgeous. I want them.
And
you
I
can
just
have them.
Want to point out that you can now get the new Bitter Blossom art from Ultimate Masters on their sleeves.
Look at it. It's so
gorgeous.
Good. Look at that little fairy.
And these ones, which is a Humbug, which was the December
promo card,
holiday promo. And there it is on the sleeves. It looks so cute.
Yes. So all of their new set of art sleeves are also just looking aces out there.
And I picked up this My Little Pony deck box from
Adorable.
them. They've got My Little Pony sleeves and deck box. I don't know if you know this, which you probably don't because I've literally never said it, but I was obsessed with My Little Pony when I was growing up. I had so many. I loved them. I didn't particularly like horses, but they were so colorful and pretty that I had a huge thing for them.
Aww.
So My Little Ponies.
That's pretty great. I played with My Little Ponies from my mom and my aunt's collections from when they were kids.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid with my cousins, it was great.
They're great.
Relic Tokens.
Yes.
As we mentioned last time, you can now get a big old box of these.
Yeah.
There's new ones out there. And we just love these. People love collecting all of the different arts. They love holding on to them to use as their tokens or as their life counters. They're just pretty great.
And I've got one final thing I want to show you, which is actually from D&D, but it's pretty cool if you're a Magic player, which is like this chest that it looks like an angry chest, and you can open it up its mouth and keep your dice and stuff in there.
Yes, and it even has a nice little zipper, so they're not going to fall out. And I love this. It has a little carabiner, which is, okay, Maria loves the tongue. I love the practical carabiner, which that's who I am.
How you could describe us.
Well, it's because like your bag gets so full.
Yeah.
And so just being able to have like a dice holder that you can just clip onto the outside of your bag, not worry about it taking up space and cluttering up the inside of your bag.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Yeah.
This tongue is honestly kind of weird. It has a real Beetlejuice feel. This is a Beetlejuice vibe. Or a Nightmare Before Christmas vibe.
Yeah. I could see that.
Right?
So anyway, a bunch of new toys from Ultra Pro. Thank you to them for being the sponsor of our show. You can check out their website at ultrapro.com, or you can go to cardkingdom.com/GLHF, where a lot of fine Ultra Pro products are sold. Humans, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. Thank you so much again to everyone who is already a patron of the show. If you have not become one yet, again, think about it, right? You go to GPs and get your card signed by artists and get altars made, or you buy prints to show your appreciation of their work. Consider giving as little as $1 a month or $5 a month, $1.25 a week for all of the content we put out, as a way of saying, hey, I appreciate what you're doing, because again, it's the way that we're able to keep doing this work, and it means so much to us.
Yeah, you can find that at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Big thanks again to our two sponsors, Ultra Pro and Card Kingdom. Use cardkingdom.com/GLHF if you want to buy anything from them. And yeah, we're streaming 3 days a week on twitch.tv/GLHF Magic. Come hang out with us for those streams.
You can see us draft some of the decks that we talked about today. Yep. You can see us experiment with those standard decks out there now.
I put together most of Judith Priest, which was a great deck name, and a deck that had been floating around the internet, which is kind of like an aristocrat style deck. And it's really cool. It's got a million different lines every single turn that you could take, so it's pretty complicated and interesting to try and pilot. And we're just making other silly decks like the Gates deck and standard. You're making what one are you putting together?
I made the Nexus of Manny Devoody.
Oh yeah.
Who has made top 8 at a couple of GPs and stuff like that, became the #1 ranked constructed player on Arena over the weekend at some point, with a Nexus of Fate Wilderness Reclamation like turbo fog turns deck.
Sounds like a nightmare.
And I made it, but the problem is that there's like mechanical aspects of the deck that I did not know how to function with on Arena.
Yeah.
Like stacking your Teferi and Wilderness Reclamation untap triggers.
Wow.
And stuff like that. So I've learned a little bit more about mechanically how Arena works. And I lost a lot of games by just being like, I'm trying to untap these lands before I untap all of these lands, but it's not happening. So it's been a real different kind of learning curve for me now.
Well, now you know more. You know more.
And if you want to know those secrets, you too can learn them.
Yeah, twitch.tv/GLHF Magic. Thanks again for listening to us, as you do, hopefully every week. Leave us a review on iTunes for this or the Upkeep if you listen to both of them. And, keep it classy, San Diego. Did you know this? Every month we have a giveaway on Gleam that you can find in the show notes of the podcast or underneath the YouTube video itself. And we give away some swag from Card Kingdom, from Ultra Pro, and from us to the winners. And we've got 2. We didn't announce the winner for December, but we did draw it.
Yes.
And they do know. And that's MTG Home Row. They hang out with us on our stream and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations. And now we have to announce our January winner.
Who is?
Who we've got. Well, I wrote it down. Angelo from Phoenix. Congratulations.
Nice.
So that means our February Gleam giveaway is now live. You can find it in the show notes. There's a couple of ways to enter. Subbing on Twitch or YouTube, visiting our Patreon page, those kinds of things. Get you entered. And you know what? You've got a pretty good shot at winning because a lot of people just flat out don't take the time to do it. So I would suggest doing it and do it every month because you probably will win at some point.
Take the time, 1, to become a patron. 2, to sub to those things when you go to them. But also 3,
win some stuff.
Under that Gleam giveaway, win some stuff.
Yeah.